The Rndr token has been one of the hottest AI altcoins on the market, and it's been our personal favorite on the channel since last year. And we can see that since the beginning of last year, this altcoin is up just under 2,500%, even with the recent pullback that has occurred. Now, this team continues to drop good news, and today we are taking a look at RNP12, which is set to revolutionize the way that artists and creators interact with the Rndr network by using AI to automate certain tasks. You can expect to hear about all of this, as well as what I am looking for in terms of the price action from this altcoin in today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show. Now, before we hop into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor. I am simply here for your crypto news and entertainment purposes. And if you do enjoy the content, please consider hitting that sub and like button and turn that notification bell on so you can be notified when all of our latest videos go live on the channel. So we're going to get right into today's altcoin of discussion, and that's going to be the Rndr token, which, we did mention the other day in our top 3 alts video. If you did not take a look at that, feel free to check that out on the channel. But today I do want to focus specifically on this token as they just continue to drop good news and new proposals to continue upgrading the network. So today we're taking a look at RNP12. And it's worth noting that RNP11 came out not that long ago. This came out just 2 weeks ago. RNP4 was the big one that basically helped them move into AI and machine learning. But this team just continues to ship these proposal upgrades, and we're going to focus on this one today. So they did announce on Twitter, this is a proposal by Dino MFX. It's a tool created to lower barriers of entry for new users using Cinema 4D on the Rndr network. Beyond the recently added native support for Maxon VXV Cinema 4D, this Python-based wizard will handle all the necessary steps automatically, supporting multiple Rndr engines. And I do want to talk about this quickly because a lot of the focus around the Rndr network lately has been on their shift into AI, into machine learning tasks, and rightfully so, because that does appear to be the next area of exponential growth, the next big narrative in the markets. So I think it was a very strategic move for the Rndr team to switch into the AI sector, and the token price definitely does reflect that. However, before they actually did this, they were actually offering their GPUs solely for 3D content creation. So the Rndr network is the first decentralized GPU rendering platform. It is a blockchain marketplace for idle GPU compute, which initially was created for artists and for content creators to tap into the Rndr network for GPU power they did not individually have. And then with this GPU power, they could create next-gen 3D and now even moving into spatial content and 4D content with the Apple Vision Pro. And then the people that are offering this idle GPU compute are paid in Rndr tokens. Now, we have been talking a lot about how this GPU power is also being offered for AI tasks at the moment, and this came with RNP004. So RNP004 is when they moved into offering this compute for AI and machine learning tasks. But the Rndr network's roots really are in that content creation side of things, and they did a good job showing this off at the NVIDIA GTC conference. And for some context, for those of you that don't know, Jules Urbach, the CEO at Rndr, does have connections to Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA. And he showed off the neural rendering and the de-aging feature at the NVIDIA GTC conference. And this is amazing for content creation, for touching up things in the background. I think the big thing is that a lot of people are pricing in AI and focusing on AI, and rightfully so. However, it's, you don't want to forget either about the other side of things they are doing with the content creation. This has the potential to save millions of dollars in the content creation field in the digital economy of film creation. and it's definitely something that should be baked into the price of Rndr as well, in my opinion. So the Rndr network recently added native support for Maxon's Cinema 4D, a 3D computer animation, modeling, simulation, and rendering software. And it says here we are approaching an important milestone as this integration is coming out of beta in the coming weeks. In order to maximize the value of this new capability, we seek to build a closer integration with the Cinema 4D application itself. And once launched, users can upload their .c4d project files to the network, and this removes a step for clients which so far had to export to the Octane specific file format, and it does unlock support for standard Rndr and physical, as well as Redshift by Maxon. So, okay, to understand what exactly this means, basically, for streamlining the experience of using the Rndr network with native Cinema 4D project files, a Rndr network wizard will automate certain checks which currently have to be done manually by the artist, some of which include checking the scene for missing assets, offering help to collect/consolidate them, checking for uncached dynamics and caching them, checking for plugins which might not be supported, checking for unsupported tags or disabling those which are not needed to save render or prep time, checking for text objects and convert them to spline/geo, and notifying the user of smaller issues which could speed up rendering, which they believe will increase the value of the Rndr network. So given the dependency, okay, that's not relevant. I want to just talk a little bit more about the motivation behind this. And I believe the big thing here is that they are really just looking to streamline and make it a lot easier for people to use the Rndr network. And that's really been the primary goal of this network since it launched, okay? The whole concept behind this here is that from your laptop, from something that has no business rendering certain tasks, for having the GPU power to render certain tasks, you are able to tap into this network and have these pieces of content, these machine learning models created and given to you, and the person on the other side is rewarded in the Rndr token. So to me, this just makes a logical sense for them to integrate this into the platform, just automating more and more tasks. And I think it's worth mentioning that although this is not specifically an AI use case, in terms of the context that we are talking about it, machine learning tasks, which has been a big focus, large language models with the launch of ChatGPT, this is another form of automation, through machines, right? That is going to help make things easier for these artists, and definitely not something that I think should be underappreciated. Although I have to admit, I am also very, very much focused on the AI side of things, the machine learning models, because I do believe that is what the market is looking at the most. And therefore, that is generally what is going to move the price the most. And speaking of the price, I do want to wrap things up discussing the token. And the big thing I pointed out on Twitter here was the potential double bottom that we may be seeing at $8.80. I just realized I put 880 as if like it was a time. I meant to put decimal. Yeah, so if we take a look at the significance of this 880 level, well, if we look at this chart here on Twitter, $8.80 is the previous all-time high that it hit back in 2021. So that is why it's significant. Pulling back to prior all-time highs and validating it as a level of support is historically pretty bullish, and not just in crypto, but really in any kind of chart, like a backtest of a strong area of resistance, flipping it into support and moving higher. So I actually said this on March 14th. This was when Rndr was running. It was in and about the double-digit territory anyways. I said I could see a scenario where it pulls back 30-ish% following the NVIDIA GTC conference, shakes out the weak hands, all while bouncing off previous all-time high as support and starting the next leg up. And so far, it has been doing that. If we actually take a look here at the moment, we are sitting at about wait for it to load, $9.08. So if we take a look, more specifically at the monthly, I want to look at the monthly chart because we can see here that the network, let me actually get rid of this right there. We've came to bounce off of it once, we came twice, and it looks like we actually bounced off it a third time yesterday. So looking to see if it can successfully complete this bounce here and continue its move higher. If it does break lower, and I'm not saying it will, I am simply here to discuss both possible scenario, and there's really only two. It goes higher, it goes lower, or the third one, which is it shuffles sideways, which would also be really bullish in my opinion. But we'll talk about the downside first. I mean, if it breaks below, what I would be eyeing is a retest of the bull market support band, which is trying to catch up to this monumental move, and that would bring it down to about the $7 range. And if we actually take a look here, I mean, we bounced off the bull market support band. We broke above it in October. This is before the big run up that we just saw most recently. Back tested it here in November and then made that run from $2 up to $13. So a retest of the bull market support band, in my opinion, if it breaks down here, would be a bullish look and signal more continuation to the upside. Worth noting that the bull market support band does currently sit at a strong area here of support. I mean, not a strong area. We only have about 2 candles there, but there was some resistance at the $6.90 level, give or take. So we could see some confluence there between the bull market support band and a retest of this area of resistance. But the reason I didn't really have it mapped out is because there was not a whole lot of price action to go off of here. So just something to keep in mind. However, the big thing I would be looking for is that $7 target if it moves to the downside. If it wants to consolidate sideways at prior all-time highs and then continue higher, that would be bullish as well. And the third option is it just simply goes higher from here, in which case I would be looking for a retest of the all-time high, what is it, nighttime? The all-time high that we put in here at about $13.50 in late March. So those are the 3 scenarios I am looking for: downside 7, upside prior all-time highs. I'm not saying I get everything right, but that is personally what I am waiting for. And as always, I will keep you guys updated on all of the most important news and price action when it comes to this token. So on that note, I hope you did enjoy the content in today's video. I hope you are all staying happy, safe, and healthy, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.